Okay, we are live again. Awesome. So annoying. Okay. So welcome back to the stream. Again, we are be building products with AI, trying to get to $1 million in revenue. So, a couple of updates. Been playing around a little bit with the open dashboard. Just trying to make it look a little bit nicer. Let me update Claude code. Just kind of here and there. So this is kind of what it currently looks like now. Decided that I'm probably going to write some blogs as well. So I added a blog section. Going to have some details about each project as well. Probably get rid of the dashboard bit actually. But this is kind of the homepage currently. So you've got these kind of icons here. Obviously, we can make it look a lot nicer, but icons and projects, and then a bit of data about the projects. We still need to add in a way to get all the data for the revenue, cost, etc. But we've got stats for these. I've still not linked up any of these accounts. I have created all these accounts. So this is Instagram, TikTok and stuff. I haven't actually used any of them yet, but we will start to use them as we go, basically. In fact, can I tweet about this stream? I think there was a tweet thing. Oh, it's fine. We'll do it another time. Why not? Okay, so today I think we're going to wrap up the talking app. So I've created a Git repo for it. I couldn't really think of a name, so I just kind of went for Talky Texty. So I think we'll kind of wrap up that project and start using it myself. We'll try and make it so that you can get it yourself. You can get the executable. I need to work out exactly how to do that and probably update the repo, the README and stuff. We can also add a contributing file, so anyone that wants to contribute can definitely do so and get involved. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan today. Just wrap up that project in terms of kind of having some core functionality on it, which I think we're kind of already there really. And then we're going to start to look at the next project. And I've got a couple of ideas, so we can talk about those and kind of come up with an idea of what we actually want to do. Awesome. So I'm just going to tell Claude to review the research file to understand the context of this application. So yeah, again, still not really that happy with Gemini as a coding bot. It does okay, but it's just nowhere near as good as Claude, for sure. So this looks okay. Obviously, again, lots of improvements we can do, but one thing I don't want to spend lots of time doing is working on this dashboard because it doesn't actually get us anywhere towards kind of any revenue or anything. It's more just kind of a tracking thing that we can improve and add to over time. So I think I'll probably call it on the dashboard for the moment with a couple of changes and then look at products that we can build and kind of work out exactly what we're going to build. So yeah, but one thing I said, I do want to start writing some blogs. So I think what I'll actually do is probably write a blog about how, well, my thoughts on essentially cloning Super Whisper with vibe coding and kind of how we can get, I would say like 85% perhaps of the way there to a product. But there's still this big gulf that you get when you're building kind of production, consumer ready, enterprise ready apps that is really difficult to do with vibe coding tools. I'll probably do a blog about that. Maybe I'll do a video about it. So yeah. Okay, so it's removed that. Okay. So let me get the talking app going so that I can actually use it. Is it text to code? PM, sorry, dev, yeah. Let me just get it to research the project and make sure that the research file is up to date. I think it is, but always make sure. Please research the project and make sure that the research markdown file is up to date. If not, please update it. So we'll get it to research that, and then we'll get the flow of actually making it a executable app, and we'll probably add in a change log as well. We'll also add in, as I said, the contributing markdown file. I don't know why it wants to word count, but fine. We'll get it into there, into a state that other people can use it if they want to. And as I say, then we'll start looking at the next kind of projects. So overall, this kind of speech to text application, I'm pretty happy with it. Does everything we need it to do. I can use it locally. It works very well. And of course, we can incrementally improve it as we go. But overall, reasonably happy with it and quite impressed with how Claude has built it. Let me get rid of this because otherwise you cannot see the little icon. Oh yeah, one thing we should also do actually is come up with a little icon for there and there, because I think that's the Towery. What is it, Rust Towery? I think that's their icon, yeah. So we'll get it to come up with a little icon as well, which will be quite cool, hopefully. Okay. So yeah, welcome to any viewers. Please do get involved in the chat, as always. Happy to talk and answer questions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're going to be finishing off to a point that we can kind of wrap up the speech to text app for now. Obviously, as I say, we'll improve it, as and when we need to on the stream. But we're going to start looking at other projects that we can build. I'm kind of going to park the dashboard a little bit as well. A couple of little changes to it, and then we'll just get it kind of out there, and then focus on actually building interesting things. I've got a couple of ideas. Always keen to hear ideas from the audience as well. So yeah, okay. So let's just get it to. Please go ahead and create a blog post page as kind of just a boilerplate so we can see how that will work. And then we'll get it to just add in the projects and stuff here with probably, yeah, I'll try and think about that. Maybe we don't even need the projects bit there. We can just have all the projects on the dashboard for the moment. And then we can add kind of some description about them. Then maybe when you hover over it, it will give you some information about it. One thing we can do is we can add the Git repo to that particular project, as I've now added it. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that, but I guess if we make this a GitHub, it's not the account ID, but it's always going to be on my GitHub, isn't it? So I guess we can just do that, and that'll be fine. Doesn't need to be a link. It can just be that. So that's something else we can get Gemini to do for us. How's the stream looking today? I mean, I think I might have solved that problem with the bitrate, which is good. So yeah, in terms of ideas for stuff that I want to build on stream and other projects that I think we can either make money off of or are just interesting to build on stream and then see where we go from it. I had a couple of ideas last night. One was the kind of idea that we could essentially use the LLMs and kind of pit them against each other and build a kind of automated betting competition. So perhaps we can bet on football on Polymarket, for example, and we can get each LLM to come up with its own kind of prediction model and reasoning as to why it makes a prediction. And then it can automatically place bets on Polymarket. We can then kind of see the bets, see who's winning, see the reasoning, see it update its own model and prediction engine, and see which LLM can actually win and make any money, if they can at all. I'm kind of assuming they'll all lose money, but it'll be an interesting idea to try and see whether any of them can make money. And then we can potentially also do it with stocks and stuff as well. The reason I was thinking of sports to start off with is there's various APIs where we can get kind of stat data for sports, and we can look at the Polymarket market itself, and then the LLM can predict. So I don't need to do any kind of web scraping or sentiment analysis to start. We can just go with kind of a basic-ish way of approaching it. So that's one idea I had. Another idea I had was to potentially build an app or a tool that will kind of improve the vibe coding flows. So I didn't necessarily want to build just AI vibe coding tooling with AI, kind of a bit meta, but from the article we saw the other day of the kind of the research, the planning, the kind of updating of the plan, looping that, then the implementation, then the kind of minor fixes, is a really nice flow. But I often miss steps and kind of forget where we are in the flow and stuff. So I did kind of wonder whether we could have a kind of Tmux style, or maybe I don't know what you call this, but something like this perhaps in Claude, where it tells us where we are in the phase, whether we're doing research, planning, talking, or all that kind of stuff. And then also have like the Git branch, maybe all that kind of stuff in the UI and kind of in a cleaner way to help me kind of make sure I'm following the pattern. And then we can also add in other patterns and other attempts to kind of make vibe coding a bit more systematic. How we will do this, I don't quite know, because obviously Claude Code is kind of its own CLI monstrosity. So whether we can build something on that, I don't know. We'll have to have a little think and determine whether we can actually make it work with other things as well. Because obviously we might be able to build like tooling in like VS Code or Cursor and stuff. Maybe we'll have to have a think about that. Or maybe we start to use something like open code. Maybe that's an option. So we can explore those kind of things. So there are a couple of ideas that I had. And then in terms of another idea game, the kind of one thing I'm keen to start doing is experimenting with what works in terms of social content. So things like TikToks and that kind of stuff, trying to get some content out there to get more of an audience. And one thing I want to do with that is kind of the idea of having a RSS monitor to monitor various kind of news websites and stuff for AI and techie news, then use the LLM to kind of come up with some potentially interesting ideas, then maybe a script, and then I can film it and kind of launch it on TikTok and all that YouTube shorts and stuff, and try and see whether we can start building an audience and what kind of tactics and stuff work well for building that kind of content. So yeah, they're currently the ideas. So we've got the research file updated from Claude, which is great. Yeah, please go ahead and commit the research file. We can update the research file. So yeah, in terms of changes we want to do here, we want to, let me write them down because I often forget because doing so many things at once. I think I've got a to-do list here, haven't I yet? I think we can probably tick the UI needs work off. Yeah, I think we've done that. Not done that one. I've got a name now, which is good, called Texty Talkie. Sorry, Talkie Texty. Product website. I probably won't do that. We do need to test distro release. Allow different hotkeys for window selection. We don't want that as well. Right. So they're kind of some stuff. So need to come up with the logo for tray plus menu bar. Add readme for project info plus executable, install, download, etc. See, I'm not sure exactly how that works. Never built a kind of executable like this before. I assume you need to have somewhere you host it and it can be downloaded. So maybe we'll just make it so you have to download Git and build it yourself. I don't know. We'll have a think. Add contributing markdown. Okay, so I think therefore fine for now. Okay. Awesome. Can we please come up with an icon for the Mac and other platforms menu item, and then also the top menu bar icon as well? I think let's go with the parrot as well. Maybe we can make a parrot style icon like we do with the processing stuff. The app is now called Talkie Texty, so maybe that helps. See what it does, shall we? Okay, yeah, so in terms of the dashboard as well, or I guess it's kind of the blog now. I did buy a domain name. Oh, it's not running. So we should be able to see that at some point pop up. And essentially the plan is kind of, as I say, build products on stream, create content through the streams, through videos, through kind of other social platforms as well. See where we start to make money, what kind of tools come out of building those kind of content things, and whether we have kind of the stream as the driver of building products, or whether it's the creating of content or other things that are the driver of the content. We'll see how it goes. Does it have an icon, does it? Source icons. Okay, yes, you can have access to that. So yeah, as I say, I've never built anything with Tori. I've never actually built anything with Electron either. So I don't actually know exactly how to distribute it, what the kind of general process is, but we can discover that together. Okay, yeah, so in terms of the blog stuff, like we should have, yeah, kind of cool. And in terms of projects, it's just a blank page for now. That's fine. I think we can probably commit this and just park that for now. Okay, let's go ahead and commit and push these changes, please. So yeah, one other thing we should do as well is kind of look at how, oh, I need to do the Git repo for Texty actually. So I'm going to do that as well. I've also added the GitHub repo and the GitHub platform to the data for the projects. So let's update the Talkie Texty app to include a link to the GitHub repo. We'll see how it gets on with that. Not very well explained at all, but we'll see. So yeah, hello viewers, if you're here, please do get involved in the chat. We're currently building the speech to text application. It basically works as we need it now. Got pretty much all the functionality that we want, a couple of minor things, and then we need to go ahead and look at how we can distribute it and get other people to use it if they want to use it. It is on GitHub now, so it's entirely open source and available for everyone else to use. Not going to be charging for this at all, as there are 1 million versions of this. And of course, there are better products out there. And I'm going to write a blog post about kind of how we got to this stage with vibe coding in just a couple of streams, but how actually we're still a long way away from building a proper product and that kind of extra 20% that you need to build a proper product and business is actually really, really hard to do with vibe coding. Cool, so Claude is coming up with a plan there. Let's go. I don't quite understand what it means by that, but let's get to come up with an option and we'll see what it looks like. So yeah, in terms of next stuff, I think the betting app is probably where we're going to go, I think, to start off with, because I think it'll be quite interesting to see whether we can get the LLMs to compete with each other and which LLM can win or lose the least, I guess, would probably be more likely, but we'll see. So Claude is just thinking over the icon stuff, which is fine. Gemini is running, which is fine. Yeah, so one thing I found with Gemini is it just like constantly commits stuff even though you don't necessarily ask it to do it. Like it doesn't actually necessarily have fixed stuff or done stuff correctly. It will just go ahead and YOLO it and commit it without really actually having done anything. I mean, it's not done anything there, so I don't quite know what it's done. So it gets the projects link. Oh, just why I have to do that every time, I don't know. So render project rows. Oh, probably a bit of a kerfuffle to find this. Yeah, I mean, so it hasn't done that at all, really. Don't quite understand what it's done. That's project details. Project. Okay, so you have link, platform account ID. I don't know why it's added a link as a thing. Please don't commit stuff until I've told you to commit stuff. The link is not correct for the project. It's the platform account ID for software. It's not a link property. Please actually ask questions. Don't just decide you want to build stuff. We need to get stuff correct. Bit of a reprimand there for Gemini. Basically, the platform will be GitHub, and then the platform account ID will be the account on GitHub and then the actual repo. So the same way that the YouTube one will be the YouTuber's platform and then the account ID. Okay. Yes, you can go ahead and do that, Claude. So yeah, hopefully the stream is not lagging today. Seems to be better off in terms of what YouTube's saying. Still need to get Streamlabs Ultra or some way of doing multi-streaming going. I've created a Twitch account. I've created Instagrams, Twitters, and everything for kind of this account. I guess it's called Tim Knight Media on all the platforms. So please do go follow if you want to follow on your preferred platform. And I'll start be tweeting, and as I say, I'll start making kind of short content on news and all that kind of stuff, and building tooling to help with those processes. In terms of interesting things as well that we've discussed before, so Hack My Claw, the guy that's created a claw bot that you can email and try and get it to reveal secrets, is still not hacked, and the bounty is now up to $500. So if you think you can prompt inject Clawbot, then go ahead and give it a go. Send it an email, and you can win $500 if you succeed. So lots of people emailing, I think. Potentially, I don't know what time it is in UTC, but certainly an interesting one. I'll probably make a video about this as well, actually, because it's quite an interesting project. Making an interesting short, I think. Okay, so where are we in terms of Claude? It's kind of, yeah, I don't know why it needs to do that, but fine. So yeah, in terms of the betting app, I think we can probably start that on stream today. And maybe we can explore how we could build the kind of vibing flows manager, I guess you'd call it, or director. I don't quite know how I would build that, but we can ignore our brains and ask AI as how we can do that. Because yeah, the big problem, I think, so basically what I want to do with that one is, here you've got this kind of workflow that seems to be working quite well with our vibe coding. Definitely makes better code. You have a research phase where your AI kind of examines the project and it spits out a markdown file with research that you should update as and when you go. You then plan your particular feature, you get it to create a plan document, you then review that plan document, annotate, get it to update stuff until you're kind of happy in a loop. You then create a to-do list in that markdown file, and you get the AI to implement it, feedback, and iterate. But I often miss steps or just end up talking to Claude. Whereas we need to kind of hopefully stick to a more structured way of doing things and get better results. So it'd be interesting if we can kind of make this structured in Claude code, so we don't really have to think about it. And then we could add in kind of feedback and iterate, update the research file, commit to Git, all that kind of stuff. What does it want to do? Why has it created a Python file? I don't quite. Let's see what's good. Like, what's it actually doing? Because I really don't understand why it's done this. Why are you creating a Python script? Just create the PNGs and draw them yourself. It's got this obsession with using Python to do imagery and stuff. I don't quite know why. It tried to do it the other day when we asked it for an icon, and then it just realised it can just write it itself. Strange. Maybe it's my prompting that's not great there. Okay, let's see if Gemini has done the fix that we were talking about. Okay, it has. Awesome. It's not fixed that one. Again, it's so annoying that it doesn't do it. You also need to fix the icon on the main project section with all the arrows and stuff. It's some random icon at the moment for that project. Cool. So we've got potentially a blog as well, which will be cool. All these random things that I mean, they don't actually do anything. So why it's created them, I don't know. Cool. Yeah, dashboard definitely looks better than it did the other day. I say I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Kind of do it as and when, and maybe off stream because it's really not that interesting of a little project. But we can follow progress and keep everything in public, so people can see what's going on, which will be good. How much can anyone earn doing coding? Like 2 years in? It really depends. So I was a software engineer for about 10 years. I think 2 years in, like in the UK, I was on like £35,000, I think. Uh, I'm entirely self-taught, so I didn't go to university for coding or anything like that. Let's just see what it's doing here. Why it wants to do with Python, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, in terms of how much you can earn, it's wildly different. Really depends on obviously how good you are in terms of coding, what country you live in. So if you're in the US, you can earn way more than any other country, certainly as a software engineer. Although the market seems to be quite hard from what I've been reading, quite difficult to get a job. Equally, if you can learn to code and build your own products, you can, earn a ton of money or absolutely nothing. So it really depends. One of the great things about software is the ceiling is potentially infinite, right? So you look at people like Mark Zuckerberg, people that built WhatsApp, tons of products out there that people have gone on to earn huge sums of money from and built huge companies. So yeah, the potential is endless, basically. In terms of getting a job, okay, it really depends what kind of your skill set you've got, what country you're in. Obviously, if you're still fairly new, you're going to earn less, but the earning potential as a software engineer is still very good. So, okay. So it doesn't look that great, that icon, but I think we're kind of happy with it. It's not going to be that crazy. Actually, let's get rid of the background on the icon and just have it clear. So just the parrot itself. Let's also rename it to Talkie Texty rather than Text to Code. I don't know whether it's got. Yeah, so it needs to be Talkie Texty. So yeah, but yeah, welcome to the stream. So are you 2 years into coding? Ironic. Let me know where you are and kind of what stuff you've built and what languages you learn and stuff. Interested to know. As I say, it will certainly dictate how much you can earn. If you're planning on getting a job, let me know kind of, are you applying, interviewing, all that kind of stuff? Interested to know what the market is currently like. Or are you building a product yourself? It's always a good way to learn stuff and potentially earn money. Although it's definitely not easy. Okay, so it's actually done what I wanted it to do. Awesome. Cool, so I think we'll get that committed. Okay, go ahead and commit and push. Why it's I don't get why it's let's actually do what SQL Whisper does. No. It doesn't seem to recognize space as a key. Need to fix that then, I guess. No model selected. Oh, okay, that's a bug as well. Need to fix that. Don't know how it's broken those things with creating an icon, but it has. Empty token. Okay. Cool. So the icon is done now. Okay, so let's get to fix a couple of these bugs. So found a bug. Can't seem to use space as the hotkey. Oh, I should really get it to commit the. Oh, is it just wiped everything by the looks of it? That's weird, isn't it? Definitely a couple of bugs there. Yeah, the fact you can't see the other options there needs fixing as well. Okay, so in terms of stuff we needed to do here, we can tick that one off. Okay. So yeah, hopefully Vercel has deployed that now. I don't think the website comes through yet on the domain name. Maybe it does, maybe it's just really slow. Okay, that's the old one, that's fine. Open dashboard. It's failed. Failed to deploy. The build has failed. Okay, let's get Gemini to fix that for us. Build is failing on CI. Okay, let's see whether the hotkey stuff has worked. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yes, it has worked. Awesome. Okay, that's fixed. Please go ahead and commit those changes. You can then push them. Yeah, that doesn't look great, but it seems to wipe the settings quite often, which is annoying. Whether that's just a local thing or not, I don't know. My guess is it is, but not entirely sure. So then we need to fix the fact that you can't select from the drop down. Or any drop down actually. So yeah, I need to fix that. Okay, there's a bug in the settings option. So none of the drop downs are actually visible. They all get covered by the menu items. So please fix it so when you open up a drop down, all of them are actually visible and we can select an option. Cool, let's see how it gets on with that. So Gemini is working through. So yeah. If you're new to the stream, welcome. Please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. And feel free to ask any questions. We're currently just building a couple of apps. We're building the speech to text application, which is almost done. And we're just building kind of a open dashboard to share all the progress on the various projects we're building and the various revenue and all that kind of stuff that we may or may not get from these projects. As I say, all of this is being built in the open, being totally transparent about all the costs, all the problems and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, feel free to get involved in the chat, ask any questions. And if you've got any ideas for products or tools and stuff, let me know. Maybe we can build stuff together. How's Gemini getting on? So it's still investigating. So yeah, Gemini is definitely much slower than Claude as well. Definitely not as quick and not as good from our experience. Okay, so apparently Claude's fixed the idea. Sorry, fixed the issue. Yeah, fixed it there. Yeah, fixed it there. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and commit that change, please, and push. I really need to stop saying things like, okay, go ahead, just commit and push, and then we get there. And I'm going to go back for the rainbow bars, make it a bit more colourful, why not? Okay, so what we need to do now for this project, I think, yeah, we need to update the README to explain what the tool is, how it works, and then work out how we can do the executable, either a distribution platform or just download it and do it yourself from the GitHub. Okay, let's please update the README to make it a project-based and product-based README. So talking about Texty Talkie, add in the icon, etc., explain what the project is. We also need to work out how we're going to build and distribute the executable. So please let me know what the general process is for Tory apps to do that. Okay. Gemini still running for this one little fix while Claude is smashing through stuff way quicker. Definitely not a fan of anti-gravity as well. I think once I'm kind of okay with the dashboard, we'll drop anti-gravity entirely, and maybe we'll give Cursor a go. We should also give OpenCode a go as well. I don't know whether you can use Claude through OpenCode, but I did buy some credit for OpenRouter, so we can try other models as well and see how they get on. Yeah, and then the next thing we need to start thinking about is how we are going to build the sports betting LLM application. So pitting the LLMs against each other to seeing which one can hopefully make money. I imagine it'll be more which one can lose the least amount of money. It'll be quite an interesting challenge to see whether they can actually build a prediction engine for various sports and kind of how they approach it. Yeah, so how does this all work? An overview of how I'm using it. Yeah, of course I can. So the application is this here. Basically, the idea behind it is that you can talk and then it will output text in the active window or the selected window. So in terms of how it's built, we're using a tool called Tauri, which is a Rust-based cross-platform application tool. So we'll end up with an application you can install on Mac, Windows, Linux, etc. And then basically the way this works is we have various models. So I've currently only got one model installed, but you can install other models. And these models are the AI models. So when you talk, it takes the audio file, it passes it to the model, and the model will do the transcription. And we then take that transcribed text and pass it into the active window or the selected window. So there's a few options in the application. So you can select your model. This is currently the best model that I've seen locally, so it's nice and easy to currently use that one. You can change the mode, so you can toggle between kind of pressing the hotkey and then you release, and then you talk and then you press the hotkey again, or you press and hold and then release to kind of end the chat. You can change the hotkey. This target window here, so it's either the active window, so for example, the active window here is the terminal. I do the hotkey, I talk, and then I stop talking. It will transcribe it and then dump it in the active window. In theory, looks like it doesn't work at the moment. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know what happened earlier. The other option is you can do what's called a window picker. So you talk, and then once you've finished talking, you should get this kind of window picker pop up. It's a bit slow, but I think that's just because other stuff's going on my laptop. Hopefully it'll pop up. Very slow. I think because it's building, it's probably causing issues. Yeah, I'll let it do that. Yes, maybe we've got a bug with the window picker. That's fine. We can probably look at fixing that later on. Yeah, I don't know whether that's given you a good enough explanation. Any other questions, Ironic, let me know, and I can talk it through, go into more details if you'd like. In terms of the code, it's built in Rust. I have not looked at any of the code. It's Rust and a React front end. I've not looked at any of the code really. It's all been vibe coded by Claude, just through prompting. But as I say, I have been a software engineer for about 10 years, so I do have a bit of an advantage with the vibe coding and prompting and stuff, because I kind of am able to understand and prompt it in good directions. Path Sonkuser. Oh, can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But how do you start vibe coding? It's very easy. You just get Claude Code or the other LLM that you want, and then you ask it to build you something, basically. So if you go back to my first stream, you can see me starting from scratch with this application. Basically, once you have Claude Code installed, which you can install via however they tell you to install it. Why it takes you to that and not Claude Code, I don't know. So you can install it via this command in your terminal. That will give you Claude Code, which is just this. And then you say, hey, build me a website or whatever you want to build, basically, and you just talk to it, and it will spit out code and stuff. Or you can use an IDE like Cursor. So this is Anti-Gravity, which is Google's one, and you can see all the code it outputs, and you can talk to it that way. But yeah, go look at my first stream. It'll be in the lives on my channel, and you can basically see from scratch how I started. I didn't do the installing of Claude Code and that kind of stuff on the stream, but once you've got to that point, you can see how I prompt it and started building applications, basically. If you've never coded before, just ask the AI how you go about starting, and it will help you out and start to guide you with that kind of stuff. Okay, so it looks like I need to get a developer account, which I don't particularly want to do for the moment. So maybe we can just go a slightly easier route, perhaps. Let's have a think. Let's just ask Claude, shall we, and see what it says. Okay, so I don't want to get a Mac OS developer account. What's the process if I just want to host it on GitHub and then have the end user build it themselves and have the application on their local machine? Can we do that, or do we have to do the signing or that kind of stuff? Let's see what Claude says, shall we? How is Gemini getting on? So, I mean, Gemini just says, well, there's no issues. But as we saw, yeah, so Anti-Gravity is Google's IDE that is built on top of VS Code and gives you access to Gemini, basically. So with Anti-Gravity, you can basically talk to Gemini. So this is Gemini here. I'm talking to it now, asking it to do things, and then it will write the code and write the changes for you. And you can see it in Anti-Gravity to the IDE. It will basically do the code for you. So if you've heard of Cursor, it's basically the same thing. It's just Google's version of Cursor. So it's saying that it is fine, but we know that's not the case. Has it actually run it? I don't know. Shall we? npm. Let's see what we get locally. Maybe it's lying to us. Oh, maybe I didn't merge it. There we go. Yeah. So the options are source only, user clones, installs, application will know. So I'm going to this. remit audio scribes, use unsigned, pre-built binders, get releases, use GitHub Actions, build each platform and attach to release, users download and run them, okay, so you need to bypass Git at once. Okay, so that's fine then, we'll just go with that process. Okay, cool, you can keep option 1. Let's make sure the README is up to date with some install and build instructions. Let's commit this and push it to master, please. So yeah, any other questions, please do stick them in the chat. As I say, if you're totally new to vibe coding, either Google vibe coding on YouTube, I'm sure people have done little tutorials and stuff, or you can go back and watch my first stream where I basically start this project from entirely scratch. So you'll see kind of vibe coding from scratch. As I say, I didn't install Claude code and that kind of stuff in the stream, so you will need to do that yourself. But if you're not sure, Google is your friend, or if you've got access to Claude or anything like that, ask Claude. It will kind of help you out a lot. It's pretty good. Okay, so the dashboard is now building, I think. Texty talkie should. Okay, so we've got the little icon, cool. It's got some README stuff. I'm just going to assume this is all correct. So if we run build, we should get a build, and then we can drag it into our applications folder and see how it goes. So this will be interesting. I've never built a executable for Mac or anything. I always normally do web stuff. So it's normally a Docker container and then up to the server. So let's see how it builds then. Okay. Okay, let's please create a contributing markdown file. Let's also please create a change log. Let's actually add the change log to the UI as a menu option so we can see what's changed and add features, etc. We also need to replace anywhere that it's called text to code with the actual name Texty Talkie. So asking it to do multiple things at once there, but we'll see how it gets on. Claude's generally pretty good when you give it multiple instructions like this. And again, I don't seem to be doing the actual workflow from that article. Claude seems to be pretty good. Oh, it's not actually worked. Why that is. Let's try that again, shall we? Is it in my history? Should be. Yeah, so we can just copy it. There we go. Maybe we didn't have that selected as the active window or something. So the history feature has paid for itself already. So yeah, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Get that to live maybe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more streams and videos and stuff. Certainly helps out. And feel free to ask any questions. Currently just finishing off the Texty Talkie app, Talkie Texty app, so you can talk and get the text output for you, just to make prompting easier on vibe coding, basically. So we're currently building the application now, so we should get an executable that we can basically dump in our applications, and it should work. And if you want to use the project yourself, you can go ahead and find it on GitHub. It's all open source. I'll put it in the chat. So if you want to have a look at it, have a look at the code, you absolutely can do. And if you want to contribute, do some vibe coding yourself, you can create a pull request. No guarantees that I'll merge it or anything, but go ahead. Or clone the repo, start playing around with it yourself. Okay, so how did the dashboard do? Okay, so that dashboard worked, I think. We should get the new version. It's very slow, Vercel. I don't know whether that's just because I'm on the cheapo free plan or not. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So there we go, got our open dashboard. Oh, okay. So let me quit that. Drag it into applications. Talkie texty. It is loaded. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's worked by the looks of it. Do I have the model downloaded? Looks like I do. Let's give it a whirl, shall we? See what it's doing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it doesn't seem to work once we built it. I wonder whether that's like a model thing. We didn't get any animation on the testing 1, 2, 3. No animation on that. Oh, maybe we need to give it access. Maybe that's one. Yes, you can have access to it. Have my fingerprint. Okay, activate that one. Close it, because you normally need to close stuff to get access to that kind of stuff. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we don't get any animation. Testing 1, 2, 3. We don't get anything there. Nothing. Interesting. Is it the microphone, the input perhaps? Oh, that doesn't change, that's a bug. Testing 1, 2, 3. Nope, nothing. Weird. Okay, so it doesn't seem to have access to the audio. I don't know why, what we're missing. Strange. Okay, let's get Claude to fix some of this. Oh, it might struggle with 2 apps of the same. Okay, so we'll get it to fix the selection stuff first. It should keep in sync. Okay, yeah. So we'll get that to fix it. In the menu option, when you select the audio input in the top menu bar, the input microphone should also sync up correctly and vice versa. So they should always be in sync, always have the correct values. Get that fixed, and then we'll look at working out why we don't seem to have access to the audio. So we've now got a little change log as well, which is nice. So yeah, we'll try and work out why we've not got access to those things. But it built correctly, no issues from the building, which was good. Which is one problem. So yeah, we should now have a contributing file as well, which is cool. So you can follow that and create a pull request for the project. If you want to get involved, feel free to get involved. Maybe you want to download it yourself and give it a whirl, even though it's not currently working, but you can play with the dev version, build it yourself locally, run the dev server, see how it goes. So fix the syncing between those, hopefully, and then we'll work out exactly why built version doesn't seem to get access to the audio input. Okay, so apparently that's fixed that. So no, it hasn't. Why has that not fixed it? Oh, okay, so it has. It didn't build correctly. Okay, good, right. So that is fixed. Commit and push those changes, please. Always be nice to your LLM, in case it is sentient. Okay, cool. Did you update the change log and the semantic version number? Oh, naughty Claude. Again, it's one of those things where I guess if you're not a software engineer, you probably wouldn't think about that kind of thing. But we caught it, and we've made it fix it. So yeah, then the next thing we need to work out is why does the built version not have access to the audio input, and how do we actually grant that access? I also probably want to think about how we can test it on Linux and Windows if I want to go that far. Maybe if any of you viewers have got a Windows machine or a Linux machine, you can test it for me. I don't currently have either. I guess I can get Parallels and I can get an Ubuntu distro. Maybe I can do it that way. Maybe we can try that. Okay, on the build version for my Mac, we do not have access to the audio input. How do we fix that? And can we make it so that you have to request access when we first launch the app or try and do an audio input? See whether it's got any suggestions for that. I'm going to suggest that it's already committed those changes. It didn't. I'll get it to commit them in a second. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Currently just trying to work out how we fix a couple of bugs with the built version of the application. And then we're going to start to look at building a LLM competitive betting application. Probably just do some research and initial creation of that application in this stream and see how far we can get. Yeah, you can list stuff if you like. So yeah, so the idea I've got for this kind of competitive betting app against the LLMs is essentially, I think we can use Polymarket. I think we can use an API. I found a few earlier that will allow us to get stats for various sports and players and stuff like that. So the idea would be that we can get each LLM to build its own little prediction engine. And then we can have some sort of mechanism that whenever there's a game coming up or something like that, we can get the LLM to make a prediction based on the data that it requires and the code that it's built, prediction engine that it's built. And then it can place the bet on Polymarket, get the results from Polymarket once it's resolved, and kind of fine tune itself. And we can see whether we can make any money or how much money we lose and which LLM is the best at predicting sporting events based on some statistical data that it requires, basically. And then maybe we can do one where the stream decides the bets as well and we compete against the LLM. Who knows? Probably need a few more people on the stream to do stuff like that, but we can see. If anyone's got any ideas of products they would like to see built on stream or tools they want to see built, let me know and maybe we can do it. What are people's thoughts on the betting app idea? Let me know. Be interested to know whether that's something you'd like to see. The reason I thought about that one is that it's quite an interesting little project to build. Should make some good social content, and maybe we can make some blog posts and kind of have some live updates, and I can make some YouTube shorts and that kind of thing, and write about it and see whether we can get some new members to the stream and the channel and build the audience basically. So currently one of the plans is to try and work out how we can build a bigger audience, and part of that will be building smaller short content and stuff to kind of get people onto the channel. So yeah, that's probably one of the applications I'll be building as well, is kind of a content generation engine for short content like TikToks and TikTok shorts that I can go then film and work out what's working and share it all on stream with everyone. So if that's interesting to any of you, please do subscribe or let me know in the channel whether you find this kind of interesting or want to see something entirely different. Let me know. Okay, so did it update? Cool, it has. Okay, so let's build it again. We'll have to delete the application from my MacBook. Clear out the bin. Oh, that was a bit loud. Cool, so that's building now. Please go ahead and commit the version changes. Cool. Hello, Prasad. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Got any questions, let me know. Okay, awesome. So it's built the application. Let's add it to my applications. You can have access to the microphone. Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome. So now we get some input. Okay, you can go ahead and commit the bug fix change as well, please. Don't forget to update the version and the changelog as well. I'd like to control the computer's accessibility. Grant access. Yeah. Okay, I don't know whether we need to do it again. Okay, we still need to grant the accessibility access so that the MacBook can output the text as well. So please make sure that we have the correct permissions and ask for the correct permissions, and don't allow us to do anything without the correct permissions. Yeah, okay, so it still needs to work out how to do the accessibility features. Okay, so we have another bug. We can go ahead and get that fixed, I guess. Use the dev version and see whether it can fix it. Okay, we still have an issue with MacBook not having the accessibility permissions. Please update it to ask and grant those and not allow us to start talking without those. So it needs access to the accessibility to output the text, etc. So yeah, obviously when you build it and have it as a proper application, obviously the MacBook starts complaining about permissions, which we don't get when we have just the dev version. Okay, looks like Prasad is not a fan of the channel and has left and retracted his message. So how is everyone finding the stream then? Is this just from the YouTube homepage, or are you searching for stuff? I'd be interested to know kind of how you discovered the stream. As I say, I'm still very new to streaming. I've only done it 3 or 4 times on this channel. So yeah, I'm learning. Hopefully you're all learning and enjoying it. Let me know. Okay, so yeah, and if anyone wants to try out this application, please do go to the GitHub repo, give it a go. Let me know what you think of it. And if you want to try vibe coding yourself, feel free to create a pull request. I'm more than happy to review it on stream, or rather get Claude to review it on stream and see how it is. So yeah, we've got our little change log now, which looks pretty good. We've got an about hotkeys, which we can probably get rid of the hotkey menu because we have it there. Open settings. Okay, yeah. We've got the options there. Oh, that's an open settings option. Okay, maybe we'll move that to general as well. Yeah, we'll get it to move that to general, shall we? Okay, so let's see how the build goes and whether it's fixed that issue. It takes a few seconds to build. Let's get it to do that as well. Please move the settings hotkey and remove the hotkeys menu item. Let's add that to the main settings section. Okay, so I don't think we need that. I swear it did ask for access. Have I lost it? Maybe that was the same one. So many windows. Okay, it looks like we've lost that. Maybe we can open that. Okay, so open up the file, replace that. I assume it's in applications. Access the microphone. Yes, you can have access. Grant accessibility access. Thing is, it does have it. Why it thinks it doesn't? Maybe we need to just delete it from there and get it to do it again. So maybe it needs to be the specific version. Testing 1, 2, 3. Aha, there we go. It works. Awesome. Okay, so we can get that to commit that as well. Lovely. So I think we're kind of pretty much there, really, with the application. So we're going to get rid of the hotkeys option here. Just add it to the general settings. We can now build. It now asks for correct permissions, and once we have the permissions, it works on Mac. Not tested, obviously Linux and Windows. It's going to be a bit of a pain for me to test with parallels and that kind of stuff. So probably leave that to the community. If anyone wants to try it out and do it, let me know. If it's broken, either reach out to me on stream or create a GitHub pull request yourself and we can merge it. Okay, so while it's finishing that off, cool. So yeah, cool little icon. It's a very bit retro icon, I guess. Maybe we should make a much cleaner icon, but for now it's probably fine. Doesn't need to be super polished. And as I said before, like you can get 80% of the way there with vibe coding and all this kind of stuff, but getting the real polish and that kind of final 20% is quite difficult without those specialized skills of like design and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we can get AI to build us a better icon set. That's the dashboard. Where is it? This one here. Because yeah, we currently have, I think it's in here, isn't it? Source icons. So these icons, but maybe we can get it to build a cooler looking icon. Oh, I kind of like the 8-bit parrot. It's fine. Yeah. Okay, so it says it's done that. Let's close the application, launch the dev server, check it, and then we can push those changes. Okay. So we should have it. Yeah, it's gone rid of that now. Got the input, and we've got the settings hotkey as well. Command Shift plus comma doesn't actually work. So, oh, actually no. So because it's already open, right? So Command Shift comma. No, it doesn't actually do anything. Maybe I need to close the window. Let me make it Command S for now. Doesn't actually work. Oh, it does work. Okay, I obviously just wasn't pressing the correct key. There we go. Yep, okay, that works fine. Lovely. Awesome. So I think we're pretty much done with this application for the moment. Okay, please go ahead and break those changes up into separate commits, update the change log and the versions, and then go ahead and push those commits. Awesome. So yeah, this is the first product I have built with vibe coding. We've done it in about 4 or 5 streams. Quite impressed with it so far, really. Claude is definitely better than Gemini from what we've seen on the quality and kind of ability to do stuff based on my prompting. Gemini has really struggled with a lot of really basic things, and I've had to go into the code and kind of prompt it and tell it to look at stuff correctly and fix things. Whereas Claude has been very, very good at basically one-shotting pretty much everything I've asked it to do, which is really cool. Okay, so let's, we don't need dev server running now. Let's delete the application and we can build a fresh version. Move bin. No, don't want to run dev. I want to build it. So yeah, but if you look at, you know, a really polished app like Super Whisper, sorry, you know, getting to this level of polish is certainly a lot more work than we have done. but we're not that far off really. Like, considering we've only done, as I say, like 4 or 5 streams, just me vibe coding, it's quite impressive what we've actually been able to do. Maybe we actually will get a little feature similar to this one here as a final little feature. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? And we can probably wrap up this stream, I think. Yeah, I've only got Super Whisper open at the moment, so on the home settings, please, let's create a little kind of widget that has the average word per minute speed, the words we've spoken this week, number of apps used, and the time that we've saved from typing. See what it comes up with there, shall we? Okay, we can ditch Super Whisper now. Obviously, they've like built it as a proper application and proper business and stuff, whereas we're just building it as a quick vibe coding tool. The first tool that we've built on stream. So pretty impressed so far. But yeah, the kind of getting to a fully fledged product is a lot more work. And as I say, I was never really planning on releasing this as a paid for product or anything like that. This was just kind of the, hey, let's build a product on stream and see how far we can get with vibe coding. And we will start to try and make money from other products and other tools and kind of social content and stuff on stream in the next ones. So let's see what it's doing. Oh, we also need to get it to update the research file to be aligned with all the changes that we've got. But because we've now got the change log, that should be fairly straightforward for it to do. Okay, yes. Obviously building the little widget. We'll see what it looks like. So yeah, I don't know whether there's anything interesting on kind of Hacker News or anything today. Oh, I did see this article actually about someone that's got their dog to vibe code basically. I haven't read the article yet, but it looks interesting. And again, this is kind of one of the things where we could probably make a little short content about this and try and drive some traffic to the channels. I don't know how exactly he's done this, but I imagine it's kind of the dog bashes the keyboard and then he has some kind of interpreter on the LLM that tries to convert it into some form of game or something. Does look pretty interesting. Oh, he's even got a YouTube channel as well. Let's go to it and see whether... So yeah, go check that one out, I think. Interesting. Okay, so apparently we now have the widget. Let's have a look, shall we? Awesome. Well, that's pretty good. So average words per minute, total words we've spoken, the number of transcriptions we've got, and the total time we've saved. Awesome. Okay, we can go ahead and commit that, please. Let's also look through the commits for today and make sure we update the research markdown file to reflect all of those changes. Please also make sure we update the changelog, again, to reflect all of these changes. So did it add that? It did not add that to the changelog, but it will do it now because I've asked it to do it, I think. Yeah, pretty happy so far with the application. Works pretty well. UI is passable. Got all the features that I need or want currently. The model itself is reasonably fast. It's not quite as fast as Whisper, but they've obviously got their own custom model and have some researchers that are doing all the difficult stuff that I simply don't have the skill set, nor the time or inclination to want to do. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, in terms of my channel performance at the moment, last stream did pretty well actually. I think that was the highest we've ever seen on the stream. This video, which was just kind of a clip of one of the streams where I read the article about how I use vibe coding, the thumbnail is not doing particularly great, 1.1%. That's not very good click-through rate. Neither is the engagement particularly good, I don't think. So what's that, 0.8 of an hour? Average duration of 1 minute 50. Pretty terrible really, and only 26 views, so definitely not a successful video. In terms of the lives, yeah, so yesterday's stream was definitely the most successful. Today we're at 42 views, not too bad. Streaming at a slightly different time, so experimenting with all these kind of things. Claude is just finishing that off. So yeah, I think probably what we will start on the next stream then, I guess, is the betting application. So I did talk to Claude about it earlier when I was having some ramen. So let me have a look. Yeah, here we go. I was asking Claude about kind of an idea for building this on stream, and it came up with some ideas and gave me some APIs that we can use. It's given me an architecture sketch. I don't know whether this is what we will end up building or not, but I'll analyze that kind of fixtures from the API football, LLM request specific stats. Yeah, potentially odds. It'll be polymarket rather than traditional betting. Yeah, so this kind of the correct flow really. And we kind of end up having some kind of data structure that we pass it into the specific LLMs. Prediction engine. Whether we'll get it to do the analysis up front or not, we need to decide and work out exactly how we're going to build it. But interesting little project nonetheless that we will build on stream and see whether we can become rich from the LLM doing the bets for us. I'm highly doubtful that we can, but we'll see. Okay, so where are we now? So we can push, I think. Okay, so we are up to date. Oh, that's the dashboard, not the talking application. Okay, here we go. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and clone the repo, build it yourself, play around with the application, or even add some features, create a pull request, fork it, do whatever you want with it. It's all in the open, all free for everyone to use. Awesome. So I think we're probably going to end up wrapping up the stream here. I think we can probably say we've finished the Talkie Texty app for now. We'll use it in future streams, obviously, as we're building stuff with vibe coding. And we will make incremental updates to it and features and stuff as and when we want to use them. We've also now got the dashboard as well on a custom domain name. Nothing particularly too interesting here. I've also got a blog as well where I'll start to write some stuff about various projects and stuff. Obviously a bug there that I need to make that a home. So yeah, I think go ahead and wrap up the stream. Thank you for watching. I will probably be streaming again tomorrow where we will start building the LLM prediction engine competition. So tune in for that.